During World War II, Britain fought a war for survival in the air. From the desperate summer of 1940, when enemy bombers darkened the skies over London, to the final bombing raids deep into the heart of Nazi Germany, British aircraft evolved faster than almost any force in history. What began as a struggle to defend the homeland became a global air war fought over Europe, the Atlantic, North Africa, the Arctic, and the jungles of Southeast Asia. Biplanes and fabric-covered trainers gave way to sleek monoplane fighters. Heavy four-engine bombers, radar-equipped night interceptors, long-range maritime patrol aircraft, and even the world's first operational jet fighter. Each aircraft was designed for a specific role, and together they formed one of the most complex and adaptable air forces ever assembled. This is the complete aerial arsenal of Britain in World War II. From the legendary fighters that saved the nation during its darkest hour, to the bombers that carried the war to the enemy, to naval aircraft that hunted submarines across the oceans. This video presents every major British aircraft used during the Second World War, organized by role, mission, and battlefield. At the heart of Britain's air war were its fighter aircraft. In 1940, as Germany launched the Battle of Britain, the Royal Air Force faced overwhelming odds. Britain's survival depended on stopping enemy bombers before they could destroy cities, factories, and airfields. Two aircraft became symbols of that fight. The Hawker Hurricane formed the backbone of fighter command. Though often overshadowed by sleeker designs, it accounted for the majority of enemy aircraft destroyed during the Battle of Britain. Rugged, stable, and easy to repair, the Hurricane proved ideal for intercepting bombers. Alongside it flew the Supermarine Spitfire, one of the most iconic aircraft in aviation history. Fast, agile, and continuously upgraded throughout the war, the Spitfire served in nearly every theater and evolved through dozens of variants. It remained in frontline service from the opening battles of 1939 to the final victory in 1945. Earlier designs like the Bristol Blenheim fighter variant and the Boulton-Paul Defiant, armed with a rear turret, reflected pre-war thinking but quickly proved vulnerable in daylight combat. The Defiant found a second life as a night fighter once radar technology matured. As the war progressed, Britain introduced more powerful fighters. The Hawker Typhoon, initially plagued by problems, became a devastating low-level attack aircraft. Its successor, the Hawker Tempest, excelled at intercepting V-1 flying bombs and engaging advanced German fighters. For naval operations, the Fairey Fulmar and later the Supermarine Seafire provided fighter protection for the Fleet Air Arm. Though limited by short-range and challenging carrier operations, they extended British air power across the seas. By war's end, Britain even fielded the Gloucester Meteor, the first Allied jet fighter to enter operational service, marking the dawn of a new era in aerial warfare. As bombing intensified, the war moved into the darkness. German night raids forced Britain to develop specialized aircraft to hunt enemy bombers after sunset. Early attempts relied on visual spotting and ground control, but success came with the integration of airborne radar. Aircraft such as the Bristol Beaufighter and later the de Havilland Mosquito night fighter variants became deadly interceptors. Equipped with radar and heavy armament, they prowled the night skies, intercepting bombers long before they reached their targets. These aircraft played a crucial role in defending British cities and later in escorting bomber streams over occupied Europe, engaging enemy night fighters in the darkness. The Night War was one of technology, coordination, and nerves, and British aircraft led the way. While battles raged over land, Britain also fought a desperate war at sea. German U-boats threatened to cut Britain off from vital supplies, making maritime aviation essential. Long-range patrol aircraft like the short Sunderland flying boat became feared submarine hunters capable of staying aloft for hours while patrolling vast ocean areas. The consolidated Catalina, operated by the RAF Coastal Command, extended Britain's reach even further, closing the deadly air gap in the Atlantic. Carrier-based aircraft such as the Fairey Swordfish, though seemingly obsolete, proved devastatingly effective. Slow and vulnerable, the Swordfish nonetheless played key roles in crippling the Italian fleet at Taranto and damaging the German battleship Bismarck. Later, naval aircraft like the Fairey Barracuda and Blackburn Firebrand reflected evolving carrier warfare, supporting amphibious operations and naval strikes across multiple theaters. Britain's maritime aircraft ensured that supplies continued to flow. Without them, the war could have been lost long before victory was in sight. Information won wars, and British reconnaissance aircraft provided it. High-altitude variants of the Spitfire conducted photographic missions deep over enemy territory, often unarmed and relying solely on speed and altitude to survive. These aircraft provided critical intelligence on enemy troop movements, industrial sites, and fortifications. The Mosquito reconnaissance variants combined speed, range, and advanced cameras, delivering intelligence that shaped Allied strategy across Europe. Maritime reconnaissance aircraft tracked enemy fleets and submarines, while battlefield observation aircraft guided artillery and ground forces. These aircraft rarely received public attention, but their contribution was decisive. Behind every frontline aircraft stood a vast logistical network. Transport aircraft like the Douglas Dakota, operated extensively by the RAF, moved troops, supplies, and wounded personnel across continents. They played vital roles in airborne operations such as D-Day and Market Garden. British-designed aircraft such as the Airspeed Oxford and Avro Anson served as trainers, transports, and utility aircraft, ensuring pilots and crews were ready for combat. Without these aircraft, Britain's global war effort would have collapsed under its own weight. No air force could survive without constant training. Aircraft like the de Havilland Tiger Moth, Miles Master, and Airspeed Oxford trained thousands of pilots, navigators, and gunners. Many aircrew never saw combat without first flying these humble machines. Training aircraft were often overlooked, but they were the foundation upon which Britain's air power was built. World War II pushed aviation technology to its limits. Britain experimented with rocket-powered interceptors, advanced radar systems, and jet propulsion. The Gloucester Meteor, though arriving late in the war, represented the future of air combat. Other experimental designs never reached mass production, but influenced post-war aviation across the world. Innovation was constant and often decisive. British aircraft fought everywhere, over Britain itself during the Battle of Britain, across Europe in bombing campaigns and fighter sweeps, over the Atlantic hunting submarines, in North Africa supporting desert warfare, in the Arctic protecting convoys to the Soviet Union, in Southeast Asia fighting across jungles and oceans. Each aircraft was adapted to its environment, proving the flexibility of Britain's air power. By the end of World War II, Britain had fielded one of the most diverse and technologically advanced air forces in history. From fragile biplanes to jet fighters, from coastal patrol aircraft to heavy bombers capable of reshaping cities, British aircraft defined modern aerial warfare. Their legacy shaped aviation for decades to come and ensured Britain's survival during its darkest hour. This was not just an air force, it was a global system of machines, crews, and innovation that helped decide the outcome of the greatest conflict in human history. If you enjoy deep dive visual encyclopedias of military history, let me know in the comments which British aircraft you find most underrated, and don't forget to subscribe the Military Index for more complete World War II arsenals.